Hello again, everybody. It's like Attack is here with day 3 of my Wrestlemania Memories video series. Went through the early years, went through the peak years, and now it's time for, in my mind, one of the best eras for Wrestlemania, the Attitude Years, the Attitude Era. Eras of Wrestlemanias, and this era is probably most regarded as one of the best eras in wrestling, the Attitude Era. Kind of was hinted at WrestleMania 13 in Chicago. Now, this is probably the only WrestleMania out of these 6 that I haven't seen in its entirety. I've seen bits and pieces of it. I remember when I was a kid, I still remember watching the free for all before this. Remember those free for alls on the preview channel? I remember I didn't buy it on pay per view. I remember like the pay per view channels. You can like see like scrambled channels. That was my WrestleMania 13 experience, scrambled. But from what I've seen of WrestleMania 13, of course, the big thing for the WrestleMania, Bret Hart against Stone Cold in a submission match at WrestleMania 13. Another classic match. And it made Stone Cold a superstar. Stone Cold was already big with Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass speech at King of the Ring. Classic moment. I remember watching that video a lot. The King of the Ring 96. Viewing that video a lot when I was a kid. But Bret Hart Stone Cold match, Ken Shamrock as a referee, it switched the careers of both Bret Hart and Stone Cold. At the time, Bret Hart was the hero. Stone Cold was like the heel, and they had a little feud going on, Bret Hart and Stone Cold, that started at Survivor Series 96. And of course, ended at WrestleMania 13. Shawn Michaels is at ringside commentating that wrestling that year. But that match was a great matchup in the career of Stone Cold, kind of launching him from somewhat star to superstar overnight. He became bigger by not quitting at all, and the sharpshooter, the image of him screaming in blood and the sharpshooter is one of the most lasting images in your head at WrestleMania 13 that year. And I wish I had like all the old WWE magazines. I used to subscribe to that. And I had the WWE magazine subscription around this time. I had the WrestleMania 13 cover. And the cover when Undertaker won the WWE title, WWF, what do you want to call it, title, against Psycho Sid. Decent matchup for one. And I've seen like bits and pieces. Bret Hart tried to interfere. Jealous that he wasn't the one getting the shot. Yada, yada, yada. And Undertaker was. And, but Undertaker won that night. I think it was right after Paul Bearer turned on him. Of course, joined forces with Mick Foley, aka Mankind. And we all know next year, Kane. So there you go with Taker. It was also the WrestleMania debut of The Rock, defending the IC Championship against the Sultan, that character with Bob Backlund and the Iron Sheik. Of course, his name was his Rocky Maivia character. Of course, he got booed. He got the Rocky Sucks chant. And of course, the next year would really be shining at WrestleMania the next year. Also, the match for Triple H, taking on Goldust in a match most remembered for China making her WrestleMania debut, grabbing the hair out of Marlena and shaking her like a rag doll. That match. We also had a couple of matches, and we also had LOD returning with Ahmed Johnson in a street fight against the Nation Domination. Decent match. Like I said, I remember most of this, some of this WrestleMania, but I haven't watched this in entirety. The only WrestleMania I haven't seen in entirety of these 6, but it was Decent Mania, kind of a precursor to the Attitude Era, which really kicked into high gear at WrestleMania 14. I have it on VHS. This is probably one of the best WrestleManias ever. This card, it was like really the kickoff of the Attitude Era, all capped off with the Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Shawn Michaels match for the WWEF title, with Mike Tyson as special guest referee, launching the Austin Era as Austin became the WWEF champion at the time. Great match. It was Shawn's last WrestleMania match until WrestleMania 19. And it was a great matchup for what it was. You know, it was Austin's first major title match, and it was a great matchup with Austin winning after attempts at stardom. Classic moment in the WWE history when Austin became the champion. Classic. Also, decent matches in the card. I mentioned The Rock wrestled Ken Shamrock at this Mania And he had a promo that night that really started his road to being The Rock instead of just being Rocky Maivia. I think it was still advertised as Rocky Maivia at the time, but he became The Rock. Classic promo before his match against Ken Shamrock. Decent matchup. We also had Kane against The Undertaker. Their first meeting. They would meet again at WrestleMania 20. But this match was just a long match. It was a great matchup, man. Kane, a lot of tombstones in this match. Of course, Undertaker being resistant to fight his brother. Of course, Undertaker winning the match after what? 3 or 4 tombstones? Great matchup. Decent matchup there with these two. We also had a mixed tag. Mark Mero teaming up with Sable against Goldust. The artist formerly known as Goldust at the time. And Luna Fashawn. And Sable delivered that Sable bomb to Luna. Was a great, decent moment. Of course, it kind of kicked off the resurgence of women's wrestling. The first women's match at WrestleMania. Single or tag since WrestleMania 10. And of course, we would have the first singles WrestleMania women's match since WrestleMania 10 at the next WrestleMania involving Sable. So that was a decent matchup. Okay. We also had Triple H defending his European title against Owen Hart in a good matchup with China being handcuffed to Salt and Slaughter, but she blinded Owen Hart. Decent matchup there. Also had a tag team match, dumpster match, Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie, aka Mick Foley, and Terry Funk against the New Age Outlaws. One of my favorite all-time tag teams. Billy Gunn and Jesse James. This great matchup with being tag and being a street fight type matchup. And like I said, this must be his classic for being a big kick to the Attitude Era. And of course, Attitude Era was already in the high gear, but this kind of kicked in the overdrive with this WrestleMania 14. Now, next WrestleMania 15. Now, this WrestleMania was an okay one. It was the first, of course, headlined by the first meeting between Austin and The Rock for the WWE title, with many special guest referees, Big Show, and Paul White, winning Mick Foley, Mankind, won a special match against Paul White to be special guest referee, but Mick Foley was knocked out. Big Show became the referee for someone in the match. Mick Foley came in during the match and counted the final fall, which went to Stone Cold Steve Austin. The first showing being, like every match besides the third match, WrestleMania 19 was like no DQ matches. And it was a great match for what Vince McMahon being commentator for the match. Somewhat in favor of this match was being upset with Austin. Finally, we captured the WWE title. In a great match against The Rock. I can't really tell you. I think my favorite Rock and Austin match is probably when we're going to get to 17. But this match was great for what it was. The first match between Austin and Rock, great matchup. Decent back and forth action for these two. Great. These are the best guys ever. Wrestling for the first time was great. Also, I like the permanent breakup of DX that night. Triple H taking on Kane that night in a regular match. China had left DX at the time, joined the corporation, but then we joined DX as what we all thought, with Triple H winning over Kane. But DX officially broke up during the X-Pac versus Shane McMahon match for the European title. It was a decent match. We've ended with Triple H pedigreeing X-Pac, signaling the end of DX. The original DX, until the first reunion in November of 99. We also had Tori against Sable in a women's title match. First women's title match since WrestleMania 10. For what I can remember, decent matchup. We also had Butterbean fighting. Do not need to mention that. It was another boxing type match against Bart Gunn in a brawl for match. Oh boy. Like I said, brawl for and boxing, WWE doesn't mix. We had I watched this WrestleMania. And I remember some of that. It's been like a couple of years since I've seen this WrestleMania's entirety, but I remember watching it. Also, we had Undertaker against Big Boss Man in the first Hell in a Cell match of Mania until this year. It was okay. Short match. The hanging at the end was memorable for all the wrong reasons. So WrestleMania 15 was knee deep in the Attitude Era, decent Mania for what it was, with the first meeting Rock and Austin being a good showing. On to our next Mania, which was Wrestlemania 2000. This is the first Wrestlemania I bought on DVD. Remember buying this when it came out in August. Now this Mania, there's been a lot of opinions on this Mania. It was a good Mania, bad Mania, in the middle. I say in the middle. It was an okay Mania, kind of a highly criticized Mania. There was some great matches in this Mania, and a lot of bad ones too. Some of the highlights in this: a great triple threat match between Chris Jericho, Kurt Angle, and Benoit in a 2 out of 3 fall match for the European title and the IC title. Great matchup. And these are the 3 best technical guys. This is a great triple threat match. Very awesome match between these 3. With Chris Jericho winning the European title and Benoit capturing the IC title. Despite Benoit's name, I don't sugarcoat it. I do say his name. Unlike WWE, who likes to write him off. So there you go. Great triple threat, but of course, one of my favorite matches for this Mania, the Triangle Ladder match for the WWEF Tag Team titles. Edge Christian against the Dudleys and the Hardys. This was the first major meeting in a match. And of course, they will meet again in WrestleMania 17. This first encounter between these 3 was a great matchup. Great moments. Jeff Hardy's run, Tommy Bomb up the ladder. Very great matchup. Be a sign of the matches to come. These 3 guys in any kind of match, especially the ladder matches, the TLC type matches, are just amazing to watch. These guys really kicked the tag team division up the ass in the Attitude Era. These guys were great tag teams. Edge and Christian winning that match. Great Triangle Ladder match. There were a couple duds. Mostly, most of them. Most of the matches were duds, including Terry Reynolds against the Cat. Yeah, that was a stupid matchup. And our first tag match, which was Big Boss Man and Bob Buchanan taking on Godfather and D'Lo Brown. We had a hardcore battle royal. That was kind of a weird concept, but it was kind of a fun little match, getting a lot of people involved with hardcore Hollywood. Decent matchup. We also had, of course, the main event, a fatal 4-way elimination match for the WWF title. Triple H defending against The Rock, Mick Foley, and Big Show. Tagline being a McMahon in every corner. And Triple H won. It was a long match. Got to eliminate a lot of people. It was a decent matchup with Triple H winning the title. Vince McMahon screwing The Rock in the end after being in his corner. Triple H had Stephanie in his corner. Shane was in Big Show's corner. And Linda was in Mick Foley's corner. It was a decent matchup. Okay, main event. This was, like I said, mixed for some people, but there was at least 2 great matches from this pay-per-view, from this Mania. The triple threat, best 2 out of 3 fall match with Jericho, Benoit, and Angle in the first ever encounter with Edge, Christian, and the Hardys, and the Dudleys in the Triangle Ladder match. They would meet again at WrestleMania 17, highly regarded as one of the best WrestleManias of all time. Probably the best of all time in everyone's mind, and I agree to that to a sentiment. This was the first WrestleMania I actually ordered on pay-per-view. And I remember this one. There was a lot of great matches in this Mania. Second encounter between Austin and The Rock for the WWF title, and Austin joined Vince McMahon. It was a very bloody, violent, grueling matchup between these 2. Very exciting. My favorite Mania match of theirs. It's probably one of my favorite Mania match of theirs. 19 wasn't that bad, but WrestleMania 17, these 2 were at the peak. Austin was on the comeback trail after being out for a few months after his won over by a call storyline at Survivor Series 99. And of course, this is before the Mummy returns. This is before The Rock became a big movie star. So it was Rock's last great match before he went Hollywood. And after this WrestleMania. Great matchup, very intense matchup with Austin winning with the help of Vince McMahon turning here. I was stunned by that when I was watching it. We also had the TLC 2 match between Edge and Christian, Hardys, and the Dudleys. Probably a lot better than the Triangle Ladder match. A lot of people getting involved. Lita, Spike Dudley, and Rhino getting involved with Edge and Christian winning. Another great matchup for these 3. Like I said, these guys kicked the tag team division up the ass in the Attitude Era. Great matchup between these 2. We also had Kurt Angle against Benoit in a 1-on-1 match. 2 grapplers getting it on. Very, very athletic match. We had a couple duds, including China and Ivory for the women's title. Very short match. China winning, then leaving the company. We also had a little tag between Taz and APA against Mike the Censor, Kane and Wave and Big Show. Hardcore triple threat. That was a very decent, exciting match of being hardcore. Gimmick Battle Royal, decent. Shane McMahon, Vince McMahon in a street fight. Grueling matchup for what it was after Shane bought WCW. That was a couple days after that. Rick Foley being special guest referee. Linda coming out of a coma at the time and slapping the hell out of Vince. Well, kicking him in the balls. So again, probably one of the best Manias. A lot of great people on this card. Probably the best Mania of all time. Now on to the Wrestlemania. My first ever Wrestlemania I attended. Wrestlemania 18 in Toronto Skydome. Of course, the moment I will always remember, and everyone else will. The Rock versus Hulk Hogan. To say that I was one of 68,000 people to be in that stadium that night to witness Rock and Hogan is no other experience I'll ever forget. The people who are going to see Rock and Cena are going to be like the people like me who can say I've seen Rock and Hogan. The crowd was just intense. I bought a Hogan sign that night. And I said, once a Hulkamaniac, always a Hulkamaniac. And I love The Rock too. And this is right before the Scorpion King came out. And this is after the Mummy Challenge. Great matchup, classic match between these two. It was like icon versus icon. It really was that. And the crowd was just intense. I watched it on video numerous times. You cannot capture it on video. You had to be there to see it. And I was there to see the crowd just go nuts, booing the hell out of The Rock. I was stunned. But Hogan came out, and I was one of those thousands of people cheering the hell out of Hogan on. I actually cried when Hogan lost, but still, seeing Rock win was okay, but I would love to see Hogan win. But great matchup. Seeing Hogan Hulk up, the crowd just going nuts. It was just intense. And that's all I remember from that WrestleMania, actually, because after that, nothing else could live up to it. You know, it had to be the main event. The main event that night was Triple H against Chris Jericho. Triple H winning, decent matchup. I remember that, like I said, I was there. Traffic jam was a bitch. It was St. Patty's Day. I remember being stuck in the gate for 2 hours, missing the RVD entrance, but I saw his match with Rigo. Missed the dog match with Mr. Perfect. That was sad. I would have loved to have seen that. But I was stuck getting inside with the gate being unopened for 2 hours. It was exciting. My very first WrestleMania. I remembered somewhat about it. You know, I remember there was some okay matches in this Mania. Undertaker, Ric Flair. All I remember was people behind me. Undertaker was here and people were cheering on the Undertaker. He was here. Like these two girls behind me in my section were cheering Undertaker during this match against Ric Flair. Of course, Taker won that night. Kurt Angle and Kane was decent. But all I remember, besides seeing Trish Stratus come out of cowboy stuff, Canadian stuff, with a triple threat against Jazz and Lita, decent matchup, but everything all comes down to Rock and Hogan for me. Now, I've been in WrestleMania 23, which I'll get to in my next video, but my favorite Mania is always going to be, for me, my favorite Mania I've been to will be WrestleMania 18, because I cannot believe I get to say I was there when Hogan wrestled Rock. It was truly a great moment I will never forget in my life. It's been 10 years, and I was proud to be a part of that match. To be there that night to witness that match in person. It was just an incredible honor. It was awesome. That was it. That's it for this WrestleMania Memories Day 3, the Attitude Years. Tomorrow will be WrestleManias 19 to 24. Where WWE kind of went downhill, but still is entertaining. Still is, somewhat. Comment your thoughts on these 6 WrestleMania below. Were you at any of these WrestleManias or any other WrestleManias? Share me your thoughts on any WrestleMania memories of the past below. Like this video, subscribe to my channel. Thank you all very much for watching this video. See you all later. With that in mind, you've all been attacked by a special video from Zach. Thank you very much for watching. See you all later. Thank you again. And yeah.